On September 11, the Ministry of Finance, in partnership with the Ministry of Planning, convened a high-level national policy hearing in Freetown.
I am very pleased this morning to present an overview of the priorities for the fiscal year 2026, which align with the aspirations of the government under the dynamic leadership of His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio.
The event was structured in two parts. The morning featured policy hearings focused on the Big Five game changers, budget reforms, and strategies for domestic revenue mobilization.
I also wish to commend our colleagues in the economic management team, particularly the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Sierra Leone, for their steadfast work in stabilizing the exchange rate, reducing inflation to single digits, and restoring confidence in our macroeconomic framework. I think they deserve an applause.
With the law passed by the Ministry of Mines, we now have opportunity for state participation. 10% free undiluted carried interest in any large-scale mining in the country. But the government now has an option to take up to 30% equity participation, which provides an opportunity for direct, predictable access to a flow of resources after tax from the operations of those mines. I think that's a smart law that was passed. And I want to thank the Ministry of Mines for that. The responsibility for the government, the responsibility is to implement that law.
There is no better time to look for innovative ways to finance our development than now. There is a pressing need to look inward to mobilize domestic resources.
Later in the day, formal presentations were delivered, followed by an interactive session where audience members posed questions and shared perspectives.
1.12 billion worth of mineral assets left the country last year, 2024, Ministry of Mines figures. Of that, government only got $49.4 million, which is a 4.4% state share in the mineral assets. So 95% plus left the country. On the surface of Tongolele North, which is scrapable, not drilling, scrapable, we have 36 million tons of land or projects. My investment partner projects that we can possibly scrape that off and finish it off in 9 years' time. So I'm not great with figures, but 1.8 billion divided by 9 years means government will have an annual revenue of $200 million.
This is not rocket science. That's what the Ministry of Mines is there and the Ministry of Finance is there. We should both work together to do what? To make sure that that initiative is done and done in a very deeper way, even including our people in the community. That's how, because I think when the state participates, it is the responsibility of the state to build and develop the infrastructure beginning from where the resources are exploited. So that's the approach that we're using, and we'll change this entire narrative around mines and mining. I think that's the approach, and in the beginning from 2026, you'll begin to see how this dynamic reflects the way we are thinking in the country. You had all this noise around Kasafoni. The Kasafoni noise was to ensure that we start telling people that it can be done right. It's a deliberate policy of His Excellency. This is not something we are imposing on manufacturers. It is his vision, and he said, let's do it right.
Talked a lot about using our innovative skills in the different departments for since we're able to generate revenue. We even go to the extent that corporates, those who fail to pay their taxes, a court system is going to be set up for them, wherein they will be brought to law and then they will be forced to pay their taxes.
And also we have seen that the United States have cut down some aids to other countries, especially Africa countries. So as a nation, we are trying to implement this innovative financing.
So I want to humbly take this opportunity to thank His Excellency for the dynamic leadership, the Honorable Vice President, Minister, who lead in steering our economic management team and the developments, the Minister of Planning and Economic Development, our colleagues, Deputy Minister 1 and 2 in Finance and the FS, and the entire Ministry of Finance Directorate and our colleagues in MBS for supporting this process, an onward process